A new game starts with creating a character. Would you like to answer a series of questions about the type of vampire you'd like to be and allow them to create your character, or go directly to this sheet and set your character's clan attributes and abilities yourself? Can I augment it afterwards? Let's try the ask a series of question one, and I can augment it if I don't like the results for some reason. Even if it doesn't let me, I could always just restart the game and be like, JK. Let's try that one. Would you like to be male or female? Let's be male. You're in a convenience store, looking through the beer freezer, when all of a sudden a man walks in and pulls a gun on the cashier. Do you sneak up behind him, disarm him, and proceed to beat him senseless? Or quietly make your way to the bathroom and lock yourself in? So basically, do you deal with the problem, or do you protect yourself, I guess? Let's kick his ass. You're outbid in an auction for a macabre piece of art that you must have. You know the collector who won it. You've even been to his house. Do you persuade him to sell it to you via drinks? Wait until he leaves, find a spare key, and make it look like a robbery? Or write an unflattering critique of the artist, get it published, and just wait for your friend to try and unload it? Huh. Okay. So basically, do you directly try to persuade him? Do you steal it from him? Or do you defame the art publicly as a really crazy macro scale scheme to trick him? I'm just gonna steal it. You were mugged last night. It wasn't life-threatening, but you wanted to take some measures to make sure that if it happens again, you aren't defenseless. Do you sign up for martial arts to be ready next time? Start carrying a knife that you conceal in your belt? Or buy a gun? The next mugger is sidewalk meat. Let's do martial arts. You are in a hospital, looking for the doctor who's late on his blood payments. A nurse steps in front of you and says, "You can't go in there, it's restricted to medical staff only." Do you toss her aside like a ragdoll and keep going, or show her your fangs and send her fleeing in fear of her life? That one. You met someone at a club. They looked to you. They took you back to their place. Things start getting interesting when all of a sudden you hear someone come in the front door. Their spouse. Do you head to the kitchen, let them see you, pretend you're a distant cousin, and they were nice enough to let you stay on the couch? Gather up your clothes, hide behind the door, slip out of the apartment as quietly as possible, or calmly explain that you had no idea they were married and you intend to leave and never come back, keeping your finger over the speed dial in case you need to call the police. Stealth mode. Being a night person, you watch a lot of late-night TV movies. 3 movies are on. Which one do you watch? Fist of the Monkey King, a wire-fu film with that scene where Wu beats 20 armed men with his bare hands. Sword of the Bushi, Japanese film where a lone samurai cuts a path through a gang of Yakuza. Sergeant Murderstein III, a cop that doesn't play by the rules, takes on the drug cartel that has kidnapped his daughter with only his trusty 44 to back him up. Basically, do you want to be a martial arts character, or use weapons, or use guns? Seems to be the takeaway, basically. I wonder if I should just answer the question of which one I would genuinely watch out of these 3. Because I think it's the Yakuza movie. Some drunken mortals attempt to pick a fight with you in a bar. Do you trash the place with the fool's broken bodies, or clear the place out with a mere wave of your hand? Magic. One guy at the party... Song's over. One guy at the party's been trying to pick a fight with you all night and has finally decided to throw a punch. Do you clock him in the mouth? He won't get up. Or pick up an empty bottle and smash it over his head. Tools. We're all adults here. Civilized creatures with thumbs and shit. The world's a cruel and unforgiving place. But you've gotten by so far. Why? I live alone. I don't need others. Just me, my dog, and to hell with the rest. Or stay out of sight and the world won't even know you're there. I want a dog. Can I have a dog? You've just been embraced by the Gangrel clan. Sometimes called nomads, loners, and introverts, the gangrel spurn the trappings of civilization and prefer to roam the wilds in solitude. Known for having an uncanny connection with the beast within, some learn the power to shapeshift. Alright, that's literally the character I played in Vampire the Masquerade, the tabletop game, which we played for like 3 days, so I don't have a lot of exposure. But I know that the gangrel are more likely to lose their control, like Hulk mode, where they can go into a vampire frenzy, which is dangerous for the Masquerade because you're supposed to be maintaining this like, oh, we're just normal humans, lol. Don't suspect us. And what's even worse for the Masquerade is that when they lose their cool, as a punishment, they can suffer permanent disfigurements where they become more and more animal-like, making it harder from that point on to maintain the Masquerade. At least that's how they work in the tabletop game. They were really neat sounding, so I made one immediately. We were also playing with the thing where you could give your character scars or whatever they're called, or curses, where you can inflict bad things on your character in order to give them additional good feats. Like there was a point system where you balance them, and I actually had additions to my character that made it harder and harder for him to maintain the Masquerade. So he was having to like kind of mask himself, and so on. Bloop. Your vampire's attributes and abilities have now been determined and entered into its character sheet, which you will see next. After your tour of the character sheet, you may make changes to the character or simply play as it is. Okay, so you can change it. Cool. I ended up with the exact faction I was thinking of, so it's kind of set up for me. These are your attributes and abilities, which feats are derived from. Attributes are your inherent character traits and are broken into 3 categories: physical, social, and mental. Abilities are things you learn and also are broken into 3 categories: talents, skills, knowledges. Members of the animalistic gangrel clan are close to their inner beast, and so your strongest attribute is physical, in which you have 2 points you can spend. You also have 1 point to spend in mental, and no points in social, a gangrel's weakest attribute. As for the abilities, being gangrel gives you an advantage in the warrior skills, in which you have 3 points to spend. You have only average abilities in talents, 2 points, and are weak in knowledges, 1 point. Feats are the actions you perform in the game. Feats are derived from adding an attribute and an ability. An example would be the feat of lockpicking, which is derived from the attribute of dexterity and the ability of security. Hovering over your mouse pointer over a feat will highlight the attribute and ability upon which it is dependent. You are a member of the gangrel clan, closest of all vampires to their inner nature. Gangrels have a keen understanding of the beast in their souls and prefer to spend their nights in communion with the animals whom they so emulate. Their disciplines are animalism, animal communion, fortitude, vampire toughness, and protean, not protein, shapeshifting. Yes. Just tell me I get to turn into a werewolf and clear out an entire building of enemies or something. This is your humanity. 7 is the norm. 10 is saintly. And the lower you go, the closer to the beast you become. Also, the lower your humanity, the greater your chances of frenzying. When a vampire goes into a frenzy, he loses all control and attacks any and all things around him. However, as you gain experience, you can spend experience points to increase your humanity. You can spend experience directly on humanity. Okay. This is where your masquerade violations are displayed. A masquerade is a code by which many vampires unlive. Anytime a vampire is seen doing a supernatural act by a mortal, it is considered a masquerade violation. You have 5 chances, and each strike will have repercussions. If you commit 5 masquerade violations, you will be dealt with harshly. So don't be naughty. Which might be hard if you're filing the masquerade on accident via frenzies, you wolf boy. This is where all information on things you are... I think I could figure that out when I started highlighting things. The auto level on-off button is a toggle, which allows you to decide whether you want the computer to allocate the experience points you earn in a game among your attributes, abilities, and disciplines, or whether you wish to allocate them yourself. The reset stats button is another toggle that allows you to clear out your point allocations and start over, or return them to your last settings. The cancel button allows you to return your last point in the game without changing your character sheet. Also, once you are satisfied with the character settings, click on the accept button. Okay. Auto levels off. Yes, absolutely. Remaining points 0. So all of my points have been pre-spent in this form. They went to, instead of protein or fortitude or animalism, they went into fortitude for skip intro. Oh, it's for after this probably. So they've made me specialized in unarmed combat and melee combat. All of these really. Unarmed, melee, ranged, and combat defense are all almost equal with a reduction of ranged combat. Covert, specialized in hacking above all else. We're gonna hack into computers. And some lockpicking, but I'm bad at sneaking and inspection and research. What does research do? Measures your character's ability to read books, learn new abilities. The intelligence attribute and the scholarship ability both contribute to the research feat. Ah, right, because everything's a combination of things. So this is intelligence and scholarship. Hacking is based on wits and computer. Oh, they put a point into computer as my starting thing. Is it just a flat bonus? I have 2 points in wits and 1 point in computer, so I have 3 hacking. Security, dexterity, 2 points. Whereas sneaking is stealth and dexterity, and I only have 1 point of dexterity, 0 points into stealth. Okay, so yeah, it's a flat addition. You can have 1 to 5 points in different stats, so these things end up having, since they're a combination of 2 things, they end up branding away from 0 to 10. That's one way to do things. It's interesting. Inspection. Yeah, notice hidden. This is the perception effect. Oh, it's literally perception and investigation combined. Perception being the manifestation of your actual stat, and investigation being a skill to put points into. They're split separately in this one, as opposed to D&D, where they're 2 parallel skills. Public. Haggle, intimidate, persuasion, seduction. They're all just tied. Why? Finance. Let's see. Manipulation, intelligence, charisma, appearance. Basically, they're all 1s because they all have a core stat up here that is a 1. But the other part, finance, intimidation, scholarship, and subterfuge, are all 0s. Interesting. Soak? What does soak mean? Bashing, lethal, and aggravated? Your ability to shrug off oh, these are ways of taking damage, I think? Your ability to shrug off damage from bullets and blunt melee weapons. Stamina, as well as clothing and body armor, contribute to bashing soak feat. Lethal, bladed melee weapons. So these are affected by what you wear, in addition to a particular stat. Aggravated, shrug off damage from claws, fangs, fire, and electricity, which are for some reason in the same category. You know, claws, fangs, fire, electricity. It's basically the same resistance. I guess it's the idea is that this is magic, or this is vampire-y defense. Melee defense, like bladed defense and vampire defense, kind of. I'm gonna reset. Boop. It was fun to do a little Q&A, but I want to make my character from scratch. That sounds like fun. Also, I need to come up with a damn name. So that's a thing. We'll see if I can think of one as we go. Okay, so 2 points into physical. We can go into strength. I'm just going to take my sweet time. This is an involved character creator, like a full-on, like tabletop RPG character sheet, more or less. So physical attributes are the gangrel's kinship with the beast gives them tremendous strength and grace of movement. Strength is a measure of your character's physical prowess. It's crucial for both the unarmed and melee combat feats, which will be especially important if I go into wolf mode, I guess, if that is a thing. Dexterity. Speed and agility of a character. It'll increase your lockpicking and sneaking feats. Does it also affect... What are my speed and agility manifested as besides those, I wonder? Just because supposedly you think I'd be good at... I feel like I should be good at stealth if I'm going to be like... In fact, I even said that I'd do sneaky things in the Q&A, but they put points into only the ability to open doors, but not the ability to sneak, which seemed weird to me. Stamina, your character's overall toughness, prevents damage from bullets, police batons, baseball bats, increases soak bashing. Let's go 1 into strength and 1 into dexterity. Give myself some sneak power. I feel like I should have that. Attributes, social. The elite of vampire society has little regard for gangrel. The feeling's mutual. So charisma measures your character's ability to sway others through personality. Charisma is an important part of the persuasion feat. Manipulation measures your character's ability to exploit people and events. Manipulation is necessary for the haggle feat. Appearance indicates your physical attractiveness of your character. Appearance is the foundation of the seduction feat. Being able to exploit people sounds noteworthy. And it kind of seems to fit with the other things I have here a bit, I feel like. Oh, I don't have a point to spend. Ha. That was a waste. Mental attributes. The gangrel's predatory nature leads to heightened perception and quick wits. Perception measures your character's awareness of the surroundings. Perception is necessary for the ranged combat and inspection feats. Intelligence indicates your ability to learn, think, and remember. Intelligence is essential for research and intimidate feats. Wits measures the sharpness of your character's mind, ability to think on their feet. Wits improve the combat defense and hacking feats. Perception's very tempting, but I think I'm going to go for wits. The reaction skill. We'll see. So now we have abilities, which are different. Talents. The animalistic gangrel draw from strong instincts. Brawl. The ability to fight barehanded. Brawl is important for unarmed combat feat, which also makes it easier to feed on the unwilling. Dodge determines your character's ability to avoid taking damage in all forms of combat. Dodge increases the combat defense feat. Intimidation measures your character's ability to instill fear and force cooperation in others. Intimidation naturally increases your intimidate feat. Yeah. Which intimidate itself just says instill fear in others and force their cooperation. That might be a natural reaction to encountering a wolf creature. Subterfuge measures your ability to conceal their motives and deceive others. I'm not sure how much I'm going to go into my lying powers. So I'm kind of thinking brawl and intimidate. Dodge should probably make some sense too, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm sure I get to put points in at some point or something as we go. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe I'm stuck with this character forever and we never get more points. So we have skills. Vampires of the Gangrel clan are capable of amazing feats and skills. Firearms determines how well your character aims and causes damage with guns of all types. Firearms are an indispensable part of ranged combat feat. Melee. Your character's ability to fight in close combat with handheld weapons such as knives and swords. Melee increases your melee combat feat. Security. Displays your character's knowledge of how locks and security systems work. Security is needed for the lockpicking feat. Stealth measures your character's ability to move silently and avoid being detected. Stealth is crucial for the sneaking feat. I think I should go into my ability to actually fight heavily. I don't know, melee is specifically separate from unarmed, apparently. And I just don't fully know how much my character is going to lean into melee versus unarmed is the issue. So part of me wants to put 2 points in here right now and just go in on melee. But how much am I going to use weapons versus melee? Let's see. Let's look at the transformation thing if it helps explain anything. So disciplines are powerful supernatural abilities. Each clan specializes in its own unique set of these. So this bottom row is the one that's unique to my clan. I want to look at this now because it might affect my choices in other places. Protean. By embracing the beast within, the vampire gains bestial forms and abilities. These effects are readily apparent and supernatural in nature. Protean should therefore be used with discretion in safe areas lest you risk violating the masquerade. Fortitude. Allows for amazing displays of preternatural constitution. Guarantees a certain amount of damage for every incoming attack will be ignored, regardless of source. Oh shit. Use of fortitude is not considered a violation of the masquerade. Interesting. It's a tanking skill where you just soak damage. Animalism. Embracing the beast within the vampire can call on animal spirits to carry out their will. The effects of animalism are obviously supernatural and carry the risk of violating the masquerade if they are used in a safe area. Night Wisp Ravens, level 1. So you spend a blood. Ravens incapacitate the victim for about 10 seconds. Any action taken against the victim will disperse the flock and end the effect prematurely. So you can crowd control, and I guess as you keep putting more points into it, something else. Oh, did the other one say things? Oh shit, they all say it. Next we get burrowing beetle. Bone crunching beetle flies to the victim, causing damage as it burrows deep into their body. That's terrifying. Spectral wolf. 2 bloods spent. A spectral wolf materializes, attacks the target, then returns to the ether. Bat's communion. Ghostly bats attack the target, draining its blood, then devour the blood of their then deliver the blood to their master. So you spend 3 blood, but you might get blood back. Pestilence. Insect swarms descend upon all victims in an area, devouring their flesh and possibly killing them. I'm surprised how many of these are like bugs specifically. So fortitude. 1 guaranteed point to all soak feats. Costs 1 blood per activation, lasts 25 seconds per activation. So you can just activate the ability to soak up damage. And eventually, the cost does not go up, but eventually it's soaking, it puts 5 points in all of your soak feats. That is interesting. Whereas we have this gleam of red eyes. You gain heat vision and a +1 bonus with a +1 bonus to wits. Costs 1 point per activation. So my wits will go up, which is combat, defense, and hacking. Interesting. 25%, 25 seconds per activation, 1 blood each. Feral claws. Your hands change to deadly claws that deal aggravated damage. Will of the wolf. You gain greater bestial prowess. +2 to stamina. Cost 1 blood per activation. Hunter of night. You gain more animalistic power. +4 to strength. Damn. They really like this 25 seconds of activation. War form. You assume a war form and with increased brawl damage. I like the idea of having a skill that violates the masquerade, specifically because it makes it really important whether or not I'm in an area where I can get away with violating the masquerade, or I guess it's not violating the masquerade. It's like being in a place where I can get away with with that kind of stuff without doing it specifically. Let's see. But the main thing is that these other forms, let's see, there's feral claws. Their hands change into weapons, doing 1 blood per activation. It doesn't actually make it very clear whether that's referring to melee or unarmed, as far as combat goes. But that's the only one that specifically is even vague. Everything else could be everything. Like +4 bonus to strength, and increasing brawl damage. Is that brawl unarmed? Brawl is like not a word used, technically. Oh, strength attribute and the brawl ability contribute to this. So brawl is... There it is, okay. The ability to fight barehanded. So yes, so war form is ultimately a brawl-based skill. Okay. So melee specifically buffs the thing that is not brawl. So emphasizing this makes more sense. So I might want to go security stealth, and let's take 1 out of intimidation and go 2 into brawl to make sure I actually specialize in this thing, because if I'm going to go melee with punching powers, I definitely want to make sure I'm actually good at it, or I'm probably going to get in trouble. Yeah. So if I don't specialize in it, I could probably be in some deep shit. So let's actually specialize in it. And I'm going to go further into sneaking and lockpicking. So this is going to be a particular style, I guess. Okay, oh, I have one more point to spend still. More stealth. I can just sneak around and take people out, potentially, hopefully. I guess we'll find out. We'll find out. Knowledge. Few gangrel have the patience or discipline to excel in organized studies. Oh. Computer indicates your character's ability to operate computers and other devices. Computer knowledge is needed for the hacking feat. Finance. Your character's ability to evaluate market value of items. Finance is needed for the haggle feat. Investigation. Measures your character's ability to notice minute or hidden details. Investigation will increase your inspection feat, which I'm very tempted by. Scholarship. Your character's ability to gather information, debate, and learn new skills. Scholarship will increase your research and persuasion feats, and is required to identify and activate rare artifacts. So far, I'm definitely... everything's been building towards me being a loner, sneaky, punchy boy, so... I think the obvious takeaway is that this complements that overall style. And anything else would be like out of character at this point with this setup. All right, this will be a particular character. It's always exciting, but also I have no idea if this will work well. I need to come up with a damn name before I accidentally make a character name unnamed. All right, I've been sitting here for a bit, not having a ton of ideas, so let's go with Kiba. First of all, one of the dogs in this house is just named Kiba. It's also the guy that has the dog familiar and also has a frenzy mode in Naruto, so somewhat fitting there with the frenzy element. And for the whole loner nomad thing, the antagonist in Wolf's Reign is named Kiba, and they're somebody who prides themselves on their separateness and doesn't really integrate with human society very well, and so on. There's a few connections, but also I'm just tired of trying to think of more names, so I'm gonna go with this one. All my points are spent. Let's see how bad I fucked it up. Okay, so I started playing and then realized, oh, I never got to customize my character's appearance, so I saved, exited, and went back to the character creator just to, check out of curiosity, and found this whole screen with, like, all the clans listed and the histories, which is an additional perk that I didn't know I could pick, so I wanted to look through those. Was there a chance to customize my character in appearance? Or what? So go directly to the character sheet in the character's clan. Clan. Oh. Okay, the clan is the appearance. Well, while we're here, let's take a moment to learn about these clans, because they're gonna be here throughout the entire game. I might as well know who they are. There's only 7. I thought there was like 13 clans in Vampire the Masquerade, so a lot of them are missing. Alright, so here's the Bruja. They're passionate. Bruja are passionate idealists and rebels, more likely to fight for their rights than write protest songs. In life, most Bruja sought social change. In undeath, most clans members commonly seek the creation of a vampiric utopia. As militant radicals, they are renowned for their combat skills, but are also more likely to frenzy due to their hot-bloodedness, so to speak. They receive a +1 to armed feat, but are penalized -2 to all frenzy checks due to their zealous natures. You can choose different backgrounds. Homosexual. Excuse me? Oh. I think it just means that the person who turns you is the same sex as you, and that's it. True Bruja. So I guess these remix your character in another way, so you can change elements of how your character works. I still might want to remake my character then, depending on what's available. Gangrel. Gangrel are wild loners that are most in tune with their beast nature, allowing them to shapeshift into more beastly forms. Nomadic in nature, Gangrel care little about vampiric politics and prefer to dwell and hunt in the outskirts of society. Because of their animalistic nature, they get +5 strength, stamina, and wits during frenzy. However, because of their inherent feral nature, Gangrel receive -1 on all frenzy checks. Malkavian. His torso looks weird, right? Malkavians are known as lunatics because of their inability to hear voices of insight. Their ability to hear voices of insight, with quotes, and subject others to their insanity through their discipline dementation. The world appears much different to the Malkavian than it does to the sane clans, though the extent to which a Malkavian's madness depends on the individual. A blessing and a curse, a Malkavian's insanity will help or hinder them, depending on how much they struggle against their nature. Malkavians start with a +2 bonus to inspection. They're better at inspection despite seeing the world differently, so in some way they see it better, I guess. There's female characters too? Yep. A very different look. Gangrel female, whereas male is like white boy dreads. It's kind of unfortunate. Whereas female, yep. Nosferatu, hideous, skulking, and powerful. Even in a world of monsters, the Nosferatu stand out. The embrace twists and deforms their physical features, forcing them to seek sanctuary underground. Nosferatu are masters of the shadows. Due to their curse, Nosferatu have a seduction of 0 and can never raise it higher, and they hide their existence from common humans. Having shared the darkness with vermin for so long, vampires of Clan Nosferatu are able to draw extra nourishment from rats. And that is the boy, in S&M gear apparently. Toreador. Is he wearing a... Oh, that's his hair. I thought he was wearing like a weird beanie. Toreador picture themselves as artists and visionaries, and they value the high society mentality that the Camarilla reinforces. Of all clans, the Toreador are the most connected to the mortal world through arts and entertainment. Toreador are beautiful creatures, svelte and seductive, and move almost effortlessly through the society of the living. The Toreador's empathy is both a gift and a burden. All humanity shifts are doubled. Oh, they're so entwined with humanity that they take it extra hard if they do something nasty. Tremere. Blood sorcerers born from mystic rituals and diablerie. Nice, that word. Tremere are the least trusted of the Camarilla clans. The ritual the Tremere used to transform from living mages into undying monsters stripped them of their magical arts. To compensate, the vampires of Clan Tremere developed thaumaturgy, the powerful discipline of blood magic. The clan guards its secrets jealously, and are the only kindred to wield this powerful discipline. The pursuit of arcane knowledge comes before all else, and the reliance upon it has weakened their bloodline. Tremere can raise no physical attribute above 4 points. They got a hard cap on their physical stat. Ventru. Ventru? Yeah. Truly the upper echelons of society. So that's who Prince is, basically. In fact, this guy looks like Prince, the guy from the intro. The Ventru are seen as the honorable and virtuous leaders of the Camarilla. They wholeheartedly support the Masquerade, influencing the mortal and undead worlds to help them maintain the Masquerade, as well as garner support for themselves. Clan Ventru is an exclusive and powerful gathering of immortals. And even the lowliest initiate of Clan Ventru can expect special treatment in kindred society. This regal bloodline, however, gains no nourishment from the low-born and thin-blooded. Ventru gain no blood from feeding on animals. Feeding on low-life humans, prostitutes, and the homeless can cause the Ventru to vomit. Wow, they're too good for half these options. I see how it is. Physics! It's always funny when there's live physics in a character creator. Alright, gangrel, male. I gotta see these. So homosexual is just homosexual. Environmental activist. You can swap the priority of knowledge, talents, and skills. You Greenpeace dude. So first of all, are these the same per character? They are not. Okay, this is worth checking then. These are specific to my thing. So not, yeah, these ones can switch around. You're a member of the Greenpeace in life, always fighting to protect the environment, riding with the whales and climbing nuclear reactors. Knowing about cause and effect was important then. Pagan. Also, it's kind of fucked up that homosexual is, well, in this category. It's not bad that it's included. I mean, it should be a check mark. Like just a check mark. It shouldn't be like why can't you have a personality and be gay? why is it an either or? We have to be homosexual means you can't be any of these things. Perv. Okay. It just seems like that should be like, are you gay or not, should be like a check mark as opposed to like a weird thing that you can do that means you can't be a pagan or whatever. Your beliefs center on the Gnostic pantheon, and your kinship with nature is strong. After you embraced, you were naturally more in tune with the beast within, and that affinity is now apparent. So you can swap your attributes to mental, physical, and social. See, the orders change in different things. Mortician. Skills, knowledge, talents. The irony isn't lost on you now, all those nights in the echoing silence with the husks of former humanity. You always thought it was your fate you were staring into. Then one night it happened, finally. One of them. Hell of a fine specimen, you were thinking. Woke up. Oh, the corpse woke up. Don't call them a fine specimen. That's creepy. Ex-cop. You were a great cop until a meth head's knife glanced your spine and left you relegated to desk work for the rest of your career. You start with 1 point in firearms and 1 point in intimidation, but you may never raise your stamina above 3. Oh, so you get bonus stats but lose other things. So this is kind of what I was talking about before, where you get pluses and minuses when you're making your character. Perv. You love women. Good God Almighty, do you love women? You love their bits and you love their pieces. Yeah. They never really reciprocated your interest, but, well, fuck them. In undeath, your suppressed appetites have reemerged. You gain extra blood when feeding on human of the opposite sex. Unfortunately, undeath has done little for your personality. Your subterfuge cannot be raised above 1. What? Chupacabra? Alright. Rumor has it you are descended from the legendary Chupacabra, the blood-frenzied devil that has haunted the Mexican countryside for generations. The ferocity of this dubious distinction is impossible to discern, but your feral instincts are strong. You are able to prolong the duration of protean. Unfortunately, your purported progenitor may have left you with a deficiency as well. You may never raise your fortitude discipline above 3. So longer form for protean abilities and reduced and a cap on your discipline skill. That's interesting. Insectoid. What the fuck? Maybe it's the vague compulsion to spin a web, or when you catch yourself trying to use your imaginary feelers, but something tells you your gangrel blood is exceptional. You're able to prolong the duration of fortitude. Unfortunately, your nature is even further from human than the average gangrel. You can't waste wits, charisma, and appearance above 3. Huh. Anda gangrel. I don't know what that means. Descendant of a nomadic vampiric warriors, you are bred for extreme trials of endurance. You start with extra points in stamina and fortitude. Andablood is not of this land, however, and your spirit is not linked with the native fauna, so animalism costs you more experience to raise. Huh. So extra points and 2 stats, but you're worse at animalism specifically. Which may not be the worst, because I was thinking of going all into fortitude and the other one, Protea? Fuck. Close to the beast. After you embraced, you were naturally more in tune with the beast within, and that affinity is now physically apparent. You can advance easier in Protean, but others, especially Kine, will find your appearance distasteful. Kine. What is a Kine? I'd have to Google that. Pothead! Scientists say that smoking pot can make you more stupid. That may explain your terrible memory, as you often forget names and other details. However, you have a very relaxed attitude towards life and unlife. You get a bonus to frenzy checks. Oh my god. A canonical thing where your character is counteracting the gangrel situation because they were a pothead, and so the negative effect on frenzy is undone. But you apparently forget shit, which I imagine must manifest in-game in some way, right? That's funny. Yeah, the very next screen is just the character sheet as we did before. So I filled that back in. It's all filled in. And now I'm going with Close to the Beast. I like the idea. So I looked it up. Kine refers to the general public, just normal humans. They might be getting some sense that something's up with me. And I kind of like that idea. I'm curious. It's also more or less what I had going on with my character when I played this game for a bit with my friends years ago. Not this game, but the tabletop game it's based on, was having a character that had a little bit of edge. They were a little bit on the edge of being able to pass. So let's give that a go.